Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a couple of turns playthrough of Stalingrad, Advance to the Volga, 1942. It's a game by Revolution Games, designer Mike Rinella, developer Roger Miller, and map encounters by Charles Kibler. Nice. I've already done the setup. Everything's laid out, pretty simple. Let's get started. Okay guys, here we go. Beginning of turn one. We go to our player aid card and we check our sequence of play. It starts with the dawn phase. Dawn phase involves reinforcement, which we do not have this turn, although we do have some second turn. And withdrawal. And there are no withdrawals taking place at this point. So we move on to step two in the sequence of play, which is a random event phase. So I'm going to roll. Sorry, Cabs has shown up, as she always seems to do right at the beginning of my games. Step two is we roll on the random events table. We roll 3d6. 14 is a logistical pause. We roll 1d6, select that number of areas containing German units and flip all the units to spent. We only have 9 areas, so we roll 6. It's going to cramp our first turn. We've got 3 areas. So I'm going to take all those areas at the top of the map, and I'm going to mark them as spent. That's area 48, 49, and 50. We now go to the supply phase. We roll 4d6. And if we roll less than 16, we just make it 16. I already have 16 marked. We rolled less than 16. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're at 16. And now we go ahead and purchase our supplies. Now we do get 1 air support for free. I'm going to purchase the other 2. They each cost 3 apiece, so that's 6. That'll get us down to 0 there. Oh, this is actually there. So we now have 10. And I am going to purchase all 8 of the artillery support. 6, 7, 8. Okay. That now gets us down to 2 supply, which will carry over to the next turn. Just making sure everything's set. So we go to combat. First thing we check in the combat phase is for bloody streets. Bloody streets, at the start of the combat phase, the player rolls 1d6 for each contested light urban or heavy urban area and consults the chart below. Now, we have no contested light urban or heavy urban areas. So we don't have to worry about bloody streets. We then move on to our movement and attacks. The combat phase is made up of individual action rounds. During each action round, the German player may select a single area on the map containing fresh units to move and or attack. A spent unit is not a fresh unit, just for clarification. So we're going to start by attacking from Hill 120 to Minia. These are fresh units. They have the movement factor of 4. I'm going to select one of these units to be my leader. Has an attack value of 6. Currently there's a 3 for the Russians. And I'm going to bring in all of these units. They're all part of the 29th. We're going to go ahead and flip this over. And let's put out some of our starting attack values. We have 6. These are all 1. So 6, 7, 8, 9. We get 1 for our morale being above 10. So 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 1 is 10. And we get unit cohesion of +1. Gives us an attack value currently of 11. The Russians have a value of 10. +3 for the area, +7 for the guards. Now let's read what the guards do. The guards. The Soviet side rolls 3d6 instead of 2d6 during combat resolution, dropping the lowest result. If the area is adjacent to the Volga River, roll 4d6 instead of 2d6, dropping the lowest 2. Let's check. Here's the Volga. There's an area here and here. The area we're attacking is not adjacent to the Volga. So they will get 3 dice to roll for the for the Russian attack. Now, currently it sets at 11 to 10, but we're going to bring in an air support unit. I can bring up to 4 support units. You can have 1 for each unit that is attacking. Now, I'm not going to spend them all here. And I'm not going to roll the d6 yet to lower this value until I finish assigning all of my support units. I am going to bring in 1 artillery, which will then add 2 to my total, which will put me at 13, right? You know what? Let me go get a D20. I'll be right back. There's our Russians, and what are we at? 13. There we go. So that's all the supply I'm going to bring in. We get to roll 1d6 and subtract that value from the 10. That's a good roll. The Stukas were on point. They're now down to 6. Okay. Now, keep in mind, the Russians do get to roll 3 dice for resolution, and the Germans get 2. There's a chance for an overrun result in combat here. And that is when we take our total dice roll, and if we win, the difference between the attack roll and the defensive roll has to be greater than the defensive number, which is currently 6. We're currently already above that. We're at +7. But we got to roll the dice and see. But there's a chance for an overrun here. Let's roll the dice and see what we get. So the Russians roll a 7, get rid of the 1. We roll an 8. 13 and 8 is 21. Even my 20-sided dice doesn't help. Six and 7 is 13. The difference is 8, which is greater than the original 6, and so we have an overrun. So with an overrun result, it says if the attacker is a success and the difference between the AT and the DT is greater than the defense strength of the Soviet unit, an overrun has been achieved. The Soviet side is eliminated. Boom. It also cancels the effect of the heroes, ambush, and fanatic Soviet defense strategies. Advance the German controlled markers on the control track as needed. This goes to the spent area. Unused support. And clear the dice out of the way. These units are all spent. That is the action in one area. Let's move to this area and do an attack. Movement of 4, unrevealed Soviet unit to move into that area and attack. It cost me 4. This unit has a strength of 3. The other 2 are 2s. We'll make this our leader. So let's add up our initial strength of 3, 4, 5, plus 1 for morale is 6, plus 1 for unit cohesion is 7. The Russians have 3, plus 7 is 10, and they're heroes. Okay, heroes. Reduce German morale by 1 after combat resolution. Applies even if the Soviet unit was eliminated. Ignore if the combat result is a repulse or an overrun. Okay. So currently, they're at plus 3, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 7, 10. So we're going to bring in air support, our second of 3, to lower that number. And I really want to try to win this area. So I'm going to bring in 2 artillery. Yeah, you heard her. She's trying to help. Okay. So first off, this adds 4 to our attack, which gets us to 11. Then we're going to roll the d6 and subtract that from their 10. And again, that's also going to lower what's needed for an overrun. A 4, that gets them down to 6. Okay. Now, combat resolution. We roll 2 dice for the German, 2 for the Russians. Ooh, interesting. 16 to 19, so that's plus 3. So there is no overrun. But they do get a successful win. So the Soviet is eliminated. Let's get rid of those units, those supply. Okay, we'll get the dice out of the way. We lose 1 on our morale. We gain 1 on the control areas. And everybody is spent. Not a bad attack. Okay, making progress. Okay, so these are all part of the 24th. If I can combine them, I'm going to get a plus 1 bonus for them being with the same unit, and also I'm going to now have a much larger force here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move. Now that's 2 movement factor, right? It's a vacant area adjacent to a Soviet unit. And that's going to be it for them. I'm not going to attack. Just as a note, those 2 units are spent. I don't plan on doing anything with these 2 units, but they're still fresh. And so we're just going to keep them as fresh, even though they're not going anywhere. But just for sake of clarity. Okay, moving north, we have these 2 areas that we can still use to attack. That movement also didn't use any of our support units, which will allow us to make some stronger attacks this turn. This is clear, which is only plus 1, and this is elevated, which is plus 2. So we're going to start with this unit attacking here. Now I want to keep these units all together because that's going to give me my unit bonus. I'm going to signify this is my leader. And we have an ambush. Ambush. Eliminate the lead attacking unit after combat resolution. Ignore if the combat result was a repulse or an overrun. Okay. This is our lead unit. If we win this battle, they are still eliminated unless we get an overrun. If we lose the battle, they will have been eliminated by losing, and thus that's why you don't have to do the lose another unit with the ambush, because they're already eliminated. Okay, we're at 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus 1 for morale is 10, plus 1 for unit cohesion gets us to 11. This one goes to 11. They are currently at 8. Now, here's the thing. We have 1 air support unit left. We're definitely going to use that because we need to lower this 8. If we roll a 6, that would be awesome. Then we could almost guarantee an overrun. I'm going to assign, since I can't attack to the north, this other unit I can do 4. I have 5 artillery support. I'm going to bring 2 in here. That gives us 15 to 8. 16, and we're going to get at least 1, so this is going to be a 7. So currently, with that being 7 or lower, we'll already be in an overrun situation. So I'm going to leave it at that. We are now going to roll to see how much we reduce that 8 by. We rolled a 2, could have been better. We're down to 6. Okay. So we're going to roll 2 dice. We're up by 9. We need to win by 6. So let's not lose this by 3. So this becomes 14. We're going to leave that at 6, so just so we remember. And 15 plus 6 becomes 21. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 6 out and move that 6 out. So we're now at 15 to 8, which is plus 7. 7 is more than 6. All right? Did I do that right? Let's just take that, subtract this to 13. Subtract 6 is 7. 7 is greater than 6, therefore it's an overrun, and the ambush does not work. Those go away. This is eliminated. These are all spent. Okay. Did we get lucky? Yeah, maybe. That ambush did not work. Okay. Our last action that we can do is to attack the hill. This unit is 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus unit cohesion is 9, plus morale gets us a plus 1, gets us to 10. They're 2. Barrage 8, they are currently at 10. We have no more air support. What does barrage do? Barrage. The German player must either place one of the attacking units in the out-of-action box prior to combat resolution, or flip all attacking units spent and retreat. Okay. It's already 10 to 10. We're going to, if we were to continue, we're going to lose at least one. I would bring in 3 artillery, which would be 6, which would put us at 15 minus 1, right? Makes 9 plus 6 gets us to 15, so we're up by 5. We're going to do that. We're going to take this unit, and they're out of action. Oh no, we would lose 2 if that were the case, because we lose the unit cohesion. And we don't want to get rid of that unit because we'd lose 5. So let's take this one. We're going to go ahead and still do this, because now this is, we lose our unit cohesion, which gets us down to 9. And we lose 1 more because we don't have that unit there, gets us down to 8. So we're now 2 below them. We're going to assign, we can still do 3 artillery supports. So that's plus 2, plus 4, plus 6. Okay. That gets us to 14. So we're still plus 4. And we're just going to play this aggressive. Now, let's roll. Seven and 8. Okay, so we have a score of 21 to 18. This unit is eliminated. Spent, spent, spent. Put the dice out of the way. And we used up all of our support units. So up here, these units are all spent. We have no more actions. So here's a quick review. We've taken over 1, 2, 3, 4 areas, and we moved to consolidate our forces. Now, there are no contested areas at this point, so Bloody Streets is not going to come into effect on turn 2. These are sitting off table, waiting to come on turn 2, and they go into either location 1 or 2. We have no more available support. Had we not used it all, whatever we have would carry over. Those are the losses for that first turn. All the support units are in a big pile, packed, ready to be purchased again. We move our turn over 1. Our morale goes down 1 for the end of the turn. And we do have two supply just going into next turn. And we started with 9, we added 4, so our control is now at 15. That doesn't meet the victory condition of 40 areas. And that is the end of turn 1. And that's what she looks like right now, guys. Hopefully that gives you a feel of the game. Again, I think I got all the rules correct. I really tried. I may play this game out. I have yet to finish one. I get about halfway through, and I've either failed or the cats get involved and mess things up. Hi guys, I'm going to go over a couple of things, some of my thoughts on the game. First off, I found the game to be pretty easy to learn. I would call this an entry-level solo war game. So if you're new to the hobby, I would recommend this game. It doesn't take long to learn. I think the game also, because it doesn't have a lot of complexity in it, it plays very smoothly once you get the turn sequence down, which again, it's not overly difficult to do, and it allows for a very smooth gameplay. Again, it's not overly crunchy. You're not going to be going back to the rule book a lot, if at all. In fact, the player aid card, which I have right here, this is pretty much all you need while you're playing, okay? It's got everything on it that you need, from your turn sequence to the effects of the Russian defense to supply cost and combat resolution. It covers everything in the game. So once you kind of read through the rule book, understand it, you'll have the player's aid there, you're good to go. Last thing I'd like to mention, I think there's quite a bit of replayability in this game, because when you're setting up your Russian forces, they give you enough counters. There's a nice mix there, because you're never going to have the same game twice in a row. Now, obviously, it's not an infinite play type of thing, but I can easily see getting a number of playthroughs, probably more than most of us will actually ever play, but I could easily see 10 to 12 playthroughs of this game, and there's 2 different scenarios, so you could probably double that. So I could easily see that you could get a reasonable amount of 20 plus to 25 plays out of this game before you start to get some repetition, $3 word, in the game. So with all that being said, I'm actually looking forward to getting my hands on a production copy of this game. I'll be playing it myself quite a bit because it's right up my alley. And I'm looking to see what the other games are in the series. So I think this is well done. Good job, Michael. Nice design. I really like it. And thanks to the guys at Revolution Games for allowing me this opportunity to get the game early and play around with it and really dive into it. That was very generous of them. And so thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Anyways, as always, I appreciate you guys taking time to check out what I do here on the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.